Hello friends, in this video we'll be taking a look at the autosomal DNA results, predicted phenotype, traits, and even ethnicity results of an Anatolian Neolithic farmer from Barcin in Turkey. This individual is male, his mitochondrial lineage is W1, and his Y-DNA is G2A. Very interesting Y-DNA. Where is he from? This is where he is from, near the city of Barcin in Turkey. He's actually found in the same place that all the other samples I've been making videos on. They're all found from the same exact location. Let's go ahead and see what he scores with my trade predictor. We're gonna start with noshacot results. So it looks like with noshacot results, he's scoring light brown or dark brown eyes. There's also a slight possibility of him having hazel eyes. By the way, let me just double check. Let make sure it's the same sample that I'm discussing here. 97, 97. Yeah, it's the same sample. So okay, so for noshacot, he's scoring light brown or dark brown or hazel eyes. Really unlikely for him to have any kind of eye color lighter than hazel. For hair color, he's predicted to have black hair. There's a slight possibility of brown hair, but really he's got black hair. That's the overwhelming odds here. And for his skin color, he's actually predicted to have dark or intermediate skin tone. Definitely not light or fair skin. Actually, slightly higher likelihood of darker skin rather than intermediate skin. So he's probably pretty brown in terms of phenotype. And this is his predicted eye color with my web version of noshacot. And for the hair texture, he's predicted to have straight or wavy hair. So 58% likelihood of straight hair, 33.5% likelihood of wavy hair for him. This is, by the way, adjusted based on ethnicity. Now let's go ahead and check what he scores with the ethnic calculator. With the ethnic calculator, he is closest to North Italians, followed by Bulgarians, followed by Spanish, Ashkenazi Jews, followed by bell beakers from Britain, British, French, once again bell beaker, then global amphora culture, then funnel beaker culture. Okay, very interesting. Now, uh, let's go back to the noshacot results. We're gonna go ahead and see what contributed to this score. Let's scroll to the very end. So it looks like he's heterozygous for blue eye haplotype 2. So that definitely contributed to him scoring higher odds of stuff like hazel eyes, because heterozygous genotype in BH2 typically leads to hazel eyes. Um, what else is here? He does have BH1, so he has got blue eye haplotype 1, which typically leads to lighter eye color and hair color. And he does not have blue eye haplotype 3, which typically leads to darker hair color, so and eye color as well. So it looks like he would probably have a lighter eye color prediction um, if he had derived genotypes in SLC 45A2 and SLC 24A5. These are the SNPs. These are the genes that are most important in the skin color prediction here. And based on his result here, we see that he probably has ancestral alleles in these genes. I didn't write them here on the screen, but what I'm saying here is if he had derived alleles in SLC 24A5 and SLC 45A2, he probably would have a lighter prediction for hair and eye color with noshacot. But it looks like he's got light brown eyes. If you take everything into account, it looks like he's got light brown eyes and black hair. Actually, let's check his eye color prediction just based on OCA2 and HERC2 genotypes. It is going to be lighter, and it's looking like he's got hazel or light brown eyes here, right? So you see, um, the odds of light eye color is much higher for him if you only take into account his genotype in the OCA2 and HERC2 region. Let's go ahead and look at what he scores for the polygenic risk scores. So it looks like for the polygenic risk scores, he's scoring a um, below average score for schizophrenia. Very typical for Anatolian Neolithic farmers. They all score below average for schizophrenia. 2 times the average odds of type 2 diabetes. Very typical once again, slightly above average, but typical. Below average score for Alzheimer's and below average score for multiple sclerosis. Once again, really typical. For breast cancer, 2 risk variants out of 10. Yeah, pretty typical as well. 6 risk variants for testicular cancer out of 18. Yep, pretty average as well. 1 risk variant for celiac disease out of 10, pretty average as well. 0 risk variants for GSS out of 0. Looks like nothing was found for GSS here in the file. So that's once again pretty typical. And 2 risk variants for Crohn's disease out of 16. Once again, pretty typical. So nothing is too alarming. Nothing is too surprising in this result. Let's go ahead and see what he scores for the monogenic traits. It looks like he's a warrior in COMT. He's also a warrior in MAOA. So he's definitely a warrior overall, which means higher both MAOA and COMT enzyme activity, much quicker dopamine breakdown, less dopamine accumulation in the system. It looks like he's got heterozygous genotype for no-go learner variation in DRD2. I'm highlighting both of these lines because they are both really closely linked to each other. They're located right next to each other and they're linked. Typically, you inherit the G allele here together with the A allele here, and vice versa. It looks like he does not have long form 5 HTTLPR, so he's got short form 5 HTTLPR, slightly higher odds of depression, and it looks like he does not carry any variants for European lactose persistence mutation. If you took an ancestry test, they would say, "Hey, you're lactose intolerant." For the empathy gene, it looks like he's got heterozygous genotypes, so one empathetic, one sociopathic allele for both of them. For diabetes, it looks like he does not have type 1 diabetes. Really good to see. For Alzheimer's, he doesn't have genotypes for the main APOE genes, but he does have some genotypes that are relevant to Alzheimer's, which are these three. And it looks like he's got lower risk for Alzheimer's in all of them. For multiple sclerosis, it looks like he does not have any risk variants for multiple sclerosis. In fact, he's got this genotype, which protects from multiple sclerosis. Really good to see. We're gonna skip myopia. He once again has heterozygous genotype here and carries micro-P mutation. This is not even the first out of all of the samples that I've done for Anatolian Neolithic farmers. This is not even the first sample I'm seeing with this mutation. That's why I'm saying once again. And by the way, I don't trust this genotype at all. I'm noticing that 1240K files are very frequently carrying this mutation. I think it's a problem with genotyping, the way they did genotyping for these files. There's an issue there, and I don't trust this. So this I would take with a grain of salt. I don't really believe that this individual really carried the micro-P mutation. It's super rare, super uncommon. Mix of muscle types, likely more sprinter than endurance athlete. All right. Likely has 40x knee reflex. One variant for increased pain sensitivity in SCM9A. And for EDAR, it looks like this individual does not have East Asian EDAR, very European genotype in EDAR. All right. Not a carrier for cutaneous albinism type 1B, not albino. And for familiar Mediterranean fever, there is 0 risk variants out of 3 that were found in the file. It's not really a big statistic. It's basically 0 out of 6. Not really all that important. Now, some files are really high quality and they have everything that's here present, but in this case, that's not the case. It's a low quality file. He's got typical normal genotype in MTHFR, and he's actually got GG here, which is really uncommon and leads to lower blood pressure. For cancer section, it looks like he does not have testicular cancer. Definitely doesn't have testicular cancer because this genotype, 9 times lower risk of testicular cancer risk for men, is very, very unusual genotype. For leukemia, it looks like he does not have leukemia, but then again, it's only 1 out of 5 relevant variations that were found. For rare diseases section, pretty much nothing here is found, but for leprosy, he doesn't have any risk variants for that. For celiac disease, he's got 1 risk variant for that here, but it's not that uncommon, to be honest. For allergies panel, it looks like he does not have peanut allergies. Really good to see. For Crohn's disease, nothing was found in the file. For Canavan disease, it looks like 0 risk variants were found in the file. Yep, good stuff. And for HIV, it looks like he's got this genotype, which actually is pretty uncommon, and it leads to 90% reduction in HIV viral load. So you know how different people respond to the HIV virus differently. In some people, they develop AIDS really quickly. Their immune system gives out and they just develop AIDS and they die really quickly. For some people, they have kind of a resistance to this, right? So in this case, this individual definitely is the type to have a resistance. Well, thanks for watching until the end. That's pretty much all there is to it. That's all I wanted to discuss in this video. You can download this file in 23andMe format from link which is in the description of the video, and leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. Goodbye.